You're listening to The Red Claw Edge, a podcast focused on local Maine businesses that inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. The Red Claw Edge is proudly sponsored by Prime Financial Services in Waterville and Mabingo Mountain Coffee, the official coffee of Red Claw Media, and our good friends at Kennebec Valley Community College.
This is the Red Claw Edge. Now over to our host, Sean Packard.
Well, welcome back to another Red Claw Edge. I'm Sean Packard. Today, I have with me Haylee Wing. She is a realtor, just starting out her journey, I believe.
Yeah, it's been about 4 months now. I'm definitely loving it. So it's definitely fresh, but I'm getting so much experience. So it's been awesome.
Great. So tell me a little bit about you and kind of what got you into this.
Of course, yeah. So I'm with Coldwell Plourde Real Estate, like you said. I've been there about 4 months now. Before that, I had a banking job for a few years, and that opened up so many doors for me, which was awesome. And then while I was at the banking job, I had gotten my business degree. So I have a background of business and finance, which is awesome and super helpful with real estate. Real estate wasn't always the plan for me. So when I graduated with my business degree, I planned to move up in the banking world and maybe go into lending or mortgaging or something like that. So I have a couple of realtor family friends, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, you would love it. You have the personality for it." So I kind of just looked into it, started the course while I was still in banking, and fell in love with it, really. I finished it in a few months, and I would never look back. I love it.
Great.
I was able to get done with my banking job, kind of dove headfirst into real estate, and I love it so much. And at Coldwell, there's so many amazing mentors that we have around us. And so if I have any questions at all, they're right there helping me through the way, which is absolutely amazing. So it's been really great.
That's key on, part of this podcast, obviously, is to help inspire people.
Yeah.
And we see that as mentors as being a really big factor in especially our generation's life. And so, that shouldn't go unnoticed. And how well has that kind of helped grown in your roles, whether it be in banking beforehand or even now? And, dive a little into that.
Yeah, so I would say that being a young professional can definitely have its challenges, because people can look at you and be like, "Oh, well, why wouldn't I want to work with this older, more experienced person? Why would I want to work with this younger person?" And I just think that these younger people, and me as myself, we just have so much drive and so much time that we want to give. And we have so much passion for it that we want to be the best that we can be, and we want to help the most that we can. So I really do put all of my time into it. I put all of my time into schooling, and that's just really helped me out and gain as much experience and knowledge that I can.
Great. Yeah. And banking and realty kind of go hand
It
in
kind of
hand.
does,
So-
because you have to have a little bit of that financing background to know, like, okay, what loans are you going to need for this? What does the process look like? So that has been so helpful for me. And being able to talk to my still banking friends when I have a client that needs help and be like, "Hey, can you fit them in?" And
Yeah.
it usually works out, which is awesome to have that.
That is great.
Yeah.
So in high school, did you ever imagine that you'd end up working even at a bank?
Oh, no, never. So my plan, honestly, since I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian, which is so completely different than what I'm doing. And I just want to help people. I want to help families, really anyone that I can. I want to be impact on people's lives. And so that's like the biggest thing. And I decided in high school that I was going to do that business degree, because you can use anything with that, and it's good
Right.
knowledge to have. So I kind of just did it just to see what would happen. And it just kind of worked out like that. So that was super helpful.
And if you don't mind, where did you go for that business degree?
I went to the University of Maine at Augusta.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Yeah.
Yep.
This is such a great opportunity. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're somebody young, and you can inspire kind of our generation and the generation upcoming to be able to do these kinds of things. So what would you say to somebody who doesn't know where to go or what to do for a business, and maybe come at it from not just the business side of things from your college, right? But somebody who just entered into this world of realty, and how hard is that for somebody to do?
I would say that it is difficult because especially if you're working a full-time job, you really only have nights and weekends to do your schooling if you're not doing it in person. So I think that's the biggest challenge is making time for that so that you can get as much knowledge as you can. So that was the biggest struggle for me. But I was fortunate to be able to get done with my banking career right before I took my real estate exam so that I had 2 solid weeks to just study for my exam, which was amazing. Yeah. So that was super helpful.
I'm glad you said that it's hard. It is. And I think any business getting into is hard.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that's not possible.
No, of
You
course.
just
And
have to.
I remember at the beginning of the year, I wrote down in my notes on my phone and I said, what do I want 2026 to look like? And I wrote licensed realtor at the top. And I was like, I'm never going to get there when I was in school.
Right.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
I'm a licensed realtor. I'm with Coldwell and I absolutely love it. I have a couple of listings and it's going great.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. It is such an opportunity. I mean, we're in Waterville here, and there's a lot to expand. We have such a
course.
community.
Of course.
And so I think what is the future, I suppose? I know you just started, but
Yeah.
have you thought about what the next 4 months or even 4 years would look
Of
like?
course. I just want to continue to grow my business and I want to get my name out there. And this is awesome that I'm able to do this. I want people to think of me as one of a trusted realtor in Waterville when they think of real estate. And that's a big impact that I want to have on people. And I want them to be able to refer me to their friends and be like, oh, Haylee was great to work with and we got our house. And I just think that that would mean so much to me. So
Are you focusing on residentials only, or?
residentials for now. I think that that's what I'm going to expertise in. As I build my business. But maybe later on we'll look into other things.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about some of the struggles, like, right? Because it is hard work, right?
No, of course.
And so, kind of touch back to maybe your banking years, or even,
Yeah.
coming into this now. What do you feel like are some roadblocks that you may either still be trying to go over, or that maybe you didn't,
Exactly.
pass?
I would say that confidence is really the biggest thing that you need to have as a young professional because you want to be like, okay, I know what I know and I'm not going to let anyone else, think different. And so confidence is really the biggest thing that you can have when building a business.
Yeah. I always talk about the two unteachables:
Yeah.
confidence
Yeah.
and passion.
Of course.
Yeah, passion is something that you obviously strive and drives your goals.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have the confidence to actually do any of them, you
100%.
really can't go very far.
And that's a thing with banking too. I didn't necessarily have that passion for it because, I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't 100% for me. And I wanted more. So working a 9 to 5 honestly wasn't for me. And I love for people who it is for.
Yeah.
But I like to be able to meet new people and be on the go all the time. And this has really given me that opportunity.
Are you seeing a lot of young people starting to buy homes earlier than maybe previous to, say, COVID or
Yeah,
something?
no, and that is something that I wanted to highlight too. So right now, there is so much inventory, so buyers are able to be selective, and so first-time home buyers are really able to find a house that will fit their loan type and things like that, really fit their needs. And because we have so much inventory, they're able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really awesome that we're able to do that as opposed to during COVID.
Sure. So we obviously on this podcast talk a lot about like inspiring youth to step up and do, to have a business. But what about buying a home, right? Like, we hear in this country, in the state of everything, that, you know, back in the 70s, you could buy a house with the amount of money that we make now, right? But now it's 10 times the amount of money that we averagely can make in our area. So, how can somebody kind of feel even good about buying a house now, and like, that they can do it? In other words, like, what's that inspiration? I guess that's one of the big points I wanted to ask. And then the other thing is the climate right here in Waterville or in the surrounding area. what's a good way to inspire people to move here and why? Like,
Yeah.
what's that touch point?
Yeah, so I think that Waterville and Winslow and Augusta, the surrounding towns, I think that we really have a great community and there are great real estate professionals behind the brokerages. And so finding that trusted person and somebody that you connect with that can help you get, that loan for you, help you introduce you to those people.
Yeah.
I think that that's the biggest thing that's super helpful to first-time home buyers.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, and yeah, what's the incentive to come to Maine? Obviously I could talk all day about the community, the people, the nature that's around here, but from your perspective, what would incentivize people to buy a home here in Maine?
Yeah. So I think that in Maine, it's definitely more, I would say, low key than in Florida or something like that, because we see a lot of people coming from Florida and moving to Maine full time and having the 4 seasons. I think that's the biggest thing, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful here. We do get a little bit of everything.
It is,
So,
absolutely. And everyone wants to come here in the summertime too. So
yeah. Yeah. And so Maine is obviously a very entrepreneurial state. It's actually the number one in the entire nation. So we have like 137,000 businesses, and that's a big deal.
that is.
So what would you say, to somebody who, maybe is unsure in general about taking that leap? I know we kind of sort of touched on taking, that step to get to the business
Yeah.
portion, but there's a lot of people, especially after COVID, that are just scared in general in life, and they also aren't necessarily taught even how to write a check, right? And so like we're coming into now you have to file taxes with a business and do all these things that are way out of people's understanding. And so what does that actually what does that look like for somebody? I don't know how old you are, but like somebody young, right?
Yeah, no, of course. So I think that finding a person that you look up to,
Yeah.
that does have their own business or succeeds in their line of work that they do, I think that that's so important to sit down and have a conversation with them and ask them to teach you their ways, honestly. And that's what I did. And I have a couple of people like that, and I'm so grateful for that. So I was able to really sit down and be like, okay, teach me all of this. And it's still taking time, but
Yeah.
I think that the people around me is where I am today. That's what got me here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And that touched back to mentors and
yeah,
like,
mentors are the biggest thing in
yeah.
having a business like this.
We have obviously an older population in Maine, and so how can we take their knowledge not only to not make some of the same mistakes, but also to bring some of the innovative ideas that we have and combine the knowledge of the
Exactly.
experience that they have, the lived experience, and kind of create something special here that will last just as long.
Exactly.
So that's great. So why Coldwell Plourde Banker, and what is their like culture and community like?
Yeah, no, of course. So we are so inclusive and the mentors there are absolutely amazing. And I've just heard so many good things that it's an amazing brokerage in Central Maine. And so I am family friends with a couple of the agents there. And so I really talked to them and I was like, what is it like to work there? And they just said, it's amazing. You have such an amazing support system. And they were so right, because if I didn't have the support system that I have, I don't think that I would be where I'm at. And the help that I have gotten with my first deals, it's just so amazing how they really help everyone there.
Yeah. And I think that, and I've known them for a really long time. Yes, Jamie and Don.
They're so great.
It's nice to see the diversity
Of
in
course.
the people that currently work there, but also the fact that they're kind of taking risks by saying, you've never done this before.
Of
So like,
course.
perfect. You're perfect for it because
Yes.
you have,
Yes.
that passion, that confidence, and that's what they're looking for.
Of
So
course.
that's great. Great to see.
Yes. And there's so many bubbly, like amazing personalities there, and we all blend so well.
Yeah.
So it just works.
That's great.
Yeah.
So give me like a rough landscape of the properties in this area,
Yeah.
and kind of what is that, if you will, gauge the temperature of how that's going in the landscape right now, and
Yeah.
people buying property, people not, like, what does it look like in this area?
Yeah, so kind of like I had mentioned before, there's a lot of inventory right now.
Mhm.
So buyers are able to be more selective and prices aren't as high as they were during COVID times. But they are still somewhat aggressive, I would say, but homes that are priced appropriately are selling fairly quickly right now, especially for lakefront properties and things like that. People want to be on the water, and so having that kind of property is amazing, and having it priced appropriately is gonna work out perfect.
Yeah. Yep. And we have, Waterville Winslow Bridge just opened, so
Oh my
like
gosh, and
all these things are coming together finally. So it's if it's a good time to get back and do it.
yeah,
And
of course.
a lot of new businesses are coming, and it's again another good time to get here, right? Because
Exactly.
property taxes are going to go down in the area, and there's a lot of growth and opportunity, I would say.
Yeah, no, 100%. And with the more jobs coming in, there's going to be more people looking for homes.
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to be great for us.
Kind of walk me through some of that process. Well, like, what would a
Yeah.
first-time home buyer do, and what is that like, especially for reaching out in this area? Who do they contact? How can they get a hold of you? Like all those
Of
things.
course, yeah. So when I have a first-time buyer reach out to me, I like to tell them the first thing to do is talk to a local lender. Talk to somebody who can get your financing down, get that pre-approval, pre-qualification, so that you know what you're looking at and you can find a home that's perfect for you. And then find a real estate agent. You can interview a couple or find somebody that you think that you might like.
Mhm.
Have a conversation with them, let them know your wants and your needs, and we can set up a search for you that's absolutely perfect for you. And then we can start with looking at houses. But definitely talk to a local lender would be the first step.
Great,
Yeah, and anyone can find me on Instagram or Facebook
great.
and the Coldwell Banker Plourde Real Estate website.
Okay, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They have lots of options, and they cover most of the state, right?
Yeah.
The entire state?
We go pretty much anywhere.
Okay,
So, yeah.
great. Yeah, they're everywhere. If you've seen their signs, if you see a place that catches your eye and you're interested in it, definitely give them a call and reach out. Tons of not just residential but commercial buildings available, and I think that it's getting to a great time to buy not only a home but start your business. That's is what Maine's all about, is connecting people,
Yeah.
having conversations, and growing Maine. So
100%. I totally agree with that.
it's great to have you on, Haley.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to The Red Claw Edge, a podcast focused on local Maine businesses that inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. The Red Claw Edge is proudly sponsored by Prime Financial Services in Waterville and Mabingo Mountain Coffee, the official coffee of Red Claw Media, and our good friends at Kennebec Valley Community College.
This is the Red Claw